There were 47 hostages on that ship, including an 8-year-old girl. The hijackers had given them 30 minutes. The FBI, Coast Guard, even the Navy were helpless. But dock worker Marcus Kane quietly parked his forklift and muttered, "This isn't over." Marcus Kane had worked at this port for 25 years. Everyone knew him as an energetic, reliable worker. But nobody knew that those hands had done very different work. And today, that forgotten past was about to resurface. Hello, and welcome to The Last Stand. Have you or your family members served in the military? Share your experiences in the comments below. The morning of June 6th started like any other at Tampa Port. Marcus Kane, 46 years old, athletic build, green eyes. His hair was cropped short, his hands strong but worked with precision. Marcus had a disciplined but cheerful daily routine. He'd arrive at the port at 5:30 a.m., joke around with his co-workers, and discuss the day's plans. Unlike other dock workers, Marcus would systematically survey the entire waterfront every morning. His co-workers loved Marcus. He was the kind of guy who loved to crack jokes and boost morale. He'd been doing the same job for 25 years, getting along with everyone. But Marcus had some particularly noticeable traits: his extraordinary physical condition and his skills in water sports. "Hey Marcus, how do you stay in such great shape at your age?" The younger workers would joke. Marcus would laugh. "Sea air and hard work, guys." Marcus had some habits that caught his co-workers' attention. When he took breaks watching the sea, he wasn't just enjoying the view. He'd track which ships were coming in, their routes, crew movements. Most surprising was his underwater ability. Last year, a cargo container had fallen into the sea. Marcus jumped in without hesitation, staying underwater for 20 minutes to pinpoint the container's exact location. "Marcus, are you a professional diver?" Port manager Diego Herrera had asked. "Something like that," Marcus had replied with a laugh. "I used to swim a lot when I was younger." But the old forklift operator Vincent Torres had noticed something different. Marcus's movement patterns, body language, reflexes in emergencies. Very different from a normal dock worker. "This guy has definitely done other work," Vincent would think, but he never said anything to anyone. At 8:45 a.m. on June 6th, the passenger ship Caribbean Princess docked at Tampa Port, a 180-passenger vessel that regularly ran tours of the Gulf of Mexico. But this time, something was different. Marcus noticed strange details as he watched the ship dock. The crew seemed more tense than usual. The captain was constantly on radio calls from the bridge. And the number of passengers on the ship appeared fewer than what was listed on the manifest. "Vincent, do you know how many passengers are on this ship?" Marcus asked. "Manifest says 178 people. Why?" "I can't see that many people on deck." Marcus continued watching the ship. At 10:30, a fast boat departed from the Caribbean Princess. There were 6 men in the boat, and they were moving very urgently. They parked the boat near the marina and came ashore. Marcus studied these men's walking patterns, their posture. They looked like they'd had military training. At 12:15 p.m., while Marcus was having coffee during his break, strange sounds started coming from the Caribbean Princess. Metal sounds, heavy footsteps, as if something was being organized. At 12:45, port security approached Marcus. "Marcus, there seems to be a problem with the Caribbean Princess. The captain won't let passengers come on deck. They're saying technical malfunction, but there's no malfunction on the ship. They passed full maintenance yesterday." Alarm bells started ringing in Marcus's mind. He'd experienced similar situations years ago. Same pattern, same behavioral patterns. "Have you checked the security cameras?" Marcus asked. "Yes, but we can't see inside the ship." "The cameras only cover external areas." Marcus stood up. "Let me take a closer look at that ship." At 1:30 p.m., as Marcus was walking on the dock to approach the Caribbean Princess, a loud voice came from the ship. An announcement over the megaphone. "Attention Tampa Port authorities. This ship is now under our control. We have 178 passenger hostages aboard. No one approach." The port immediately turned to chaos. Security guards started running around. Workers were fleeing in panic, getting away from the ship. Marcus stopped. His composure wasn't shaken. On the contrary, his mind was rapidly making calculations. Ship position, distance from dock, water depth, wind direction, emergency exit points. The megaphone voice was heard again. You have 30 minutes. If you don't accept our demands, hostages will start getting hurt. The first victim will be 8-year-old Sophie Chen. Hearing these words, Marcus's face changed. Sophie Chen. This name reminded him of something. Sophie Chen. Captain Lisa Chen's daughter. Lisa was Marcus's former teammate. They'd served together in Iraq in 2005. He'd saved Lisa's life, and she'd saved his. Damn it, Marcus thought. Lisa's daughter. Marcus immediately pulled out his phone. He dialed Lisa's number. Marcus, is that you? Oh my God, have you seen Sophie? She's on vacation in Tampa, on a boat tour with friends. Lisa, stay calm. I'll find Sophie. Marcus, you don't understand. My child is on that ship. There are terrorists. I know, Lisa, trust me. I'll bring Sophie home to you safe and sound. Marcus hung up the phone. Now this had become a personal matter for him. Sophie wasn't just a hostage. She was his former teammate's daughter. Within 15 minutes, the port was completely surrounded. FBI Tactical Response Team, Coast Guard, and local SWAT units had taken positions. FBI agent Sarah Blake set up the operations center. There are 7 terrorists on the ship, 178 hostages. The ship's structure is complex, with multiple exits. Coast Guard Commander Ryan Mitchell added, "Water approach is risky. There could be explosives on the ship." Marcus approached the operations center. "Agent Blake, I can help." "Who are you?" "Marcus Kane, dock worker. But I know this ship very well." The internal structure. Emergency exits. Agent Blake looked skeptical. "Civilians can't be involved in operations." Commander Mitchell intervened. "Wait. Kane. Marcus Kane? Navy SEAL Marcus Kane?" Marcus froze. "Former. From long ago." "Marcus Shadow Kane from Team 6? There was nothing left to hide." "Yes." Agent Blake's attitude immediately changed. "You're a SEAL? Why didn't you say so?" "Because I'm retired now." "It's been 15 years. Commander Mitchell opened the map. "Marcus, do you know the ship's internal structure?" "Yes. I've done operations on this type of ship." "There are 3 main emergency exits, 2 service entrances." Agent Blake asked, "Is water approach possible?" "Possible, but risky. The terrorists look professional. They'll have sentries." "What's your recommendation?" Marcus pointed to the map. 2-pronged assault. First team creates distraction from main deck. Second team infiltrates through service entrance. "Where will you be?" "Water approach." "I'll enter through the stabilizer shaft from under the ship. Surprise the terrorists from behind." Agent Blake was uncertain. "After 15 years. Agent Blake," Marcus said, "Lisa's daughter is on that ship. I'm bringing her home." At 2:00 p.m., Marcus put on Coast Guard diving gear. Wearing this equipment again after 15 years felt strange. "Comms check," Agent Blake said. "Lima Charlie, loud and clear." Marcus replied. When Marcus entered the water, his body remembered the old reflexes. Moving underwater, breath control, navigation. It all came back. As he approached the underside of the Caribbean Princess, he encountered his first challenge. There were 2 underwater sensors around the ship. The terrorists really were professionals. "Command, sensors detected. They're watching underwater approaches. Can you bypass them?" "Working on it." Marcus used techniques he'd learned back in the day to disable the sensors. But this caused him to lose 10 minutes. When Marcus entered the ship through the stabilizer shaft, there was a terrorist waiting for him. "Who are you?" The terrorist shouted, pointing his weapon at Marcus. Marcus hadn't been able to draw his weapon yet. His old reflexes kicked in. He struck the terrorist's gun hand to neutralize it, delivered a blow to his throat, but the terrorist was trained. He immediately counterattacked. A violent close-quarters fight began between them. The terrorist landed a hard punch to Marcus's ribcage. Marcus groaned in pain, but continued the struggle. After a 3-minute fight, Marcus gained the upper hand. The terrorist was knocked unconscious. "Command, first hostile down. I'm injured but operational." "Copy. Citrip?" "Bruised ribs. Nothing serious. Continuing mission." As Marcus advanced into the ship's interior, he encountered the second terrorist. This time he was ready. "Freeze! Hands up!" the terrorist shouted. Marcus drew his sidearm, but the terrorist was faster. He opened fire with an automatic weapon. Marcus quickly dove for cover. Bullets were ricocheting off metal walls, sparks flying. Command, taking heavy fire. Need distraction. Copy. Creating distraction now. Agent Blake's team threw a sound bomb from the main deck. The explosion sound distracted the terrorist. Marcus took advantage of this opportunity. He attacked the terrorist's position. But during the fight, the terrorist's knife wounded Marcus's left arm. Ah! Marcus cried out in pain but continued the struggle. Bleeding had started, but Marcus neutralized the second terrorist too. Command, second hostile down. I'm bleeding but continuing. Marcus, what's your status? Arm laceration, manageable. Still operational. As Marcus approached the main salon, he understood the seriousness of the situation. The remaining 5 terrorists had positioned themselves strategically. The hostages were grouped in the main salon. Worst of all, he could see Sophie in the main salon. The little girl was trembling with fear. Command, I have eyes on hostages. Target spotted. 5 hostiles remaining, heavily armed. Copy. Team Alpha, ready for coordinated assault. Negative. Too risky. Hostages too close to hostiles. Marcus began thinking of an alternative plan. Direct assault was too risky. He needed a different approach. Command, I need smoke grenades and flashbangs. Coordinated on my mark. Copy. Standing by. Marcus took position. His left arm was aching, his rib cage was throbbing, but the mission wasn't over yet. All units mark. 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 Agent Blake's team threw smoke grenades from the main entrance. The Coast Guard team used flashbangs from the deck. Marcus also threw a smoke grenade from the interior. The main salon filled with white smoke and bright light. Hostages crouched down. Terrorists were trying to figure out what was happening. Marcus took advantage of this chaos to enter the main salon. When he encountered the first terrorist, there was a brief firefight. Marcus gained the advantage. But the lead terrorist had taken Sophie close to him. Stop! Don't come closer! The child dies, he shouted. Marcus positioned himself, being careful not to aim his weapon at Sophie. Let the child go. What do you want with me? Who are you? Police? Marcus hesitated. Then, I'm a former soldier. Don't hurt the child. Drop your weapon, or the child will suffer. Meanwhile, the FBI team was quietly approaching from the rear entrance. Marcus needed to create a distraction. Okay, I'm dropping the weapon. Marcus slowly put his weapon on the ground. While the lead terrorist was focused on Marcus, Agent Blake's sniper got into perfect position. I have the shot, the sniper said over radio. Take it, Agent Blake said. 1 shot. The lead terrorist was hit in the shoulder, dropped his weapon. Marcus immediately lunged for Sophie, carried her to safety. The remaining terrorists were neutralized by FBI and Coast Guard teams. All hostiles down, hostages secure. Agent Blake said. Marcus, holding Sophie in his arms, was trying to stay on his feet with the adrenaline effect. His left arm was numb from blood loss. Marcus, you need immediate medical attention. The Coast Guard medic said. Sophie first. The child is in shock. The child is fine, you're not. Sophie looked at Marcus and asked, Who are you, uncle? I'm your mom's friend, Sophie. My name is Marcus. My mom knew you would save me. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. Your mom is a very smart woman. While the medic was cleaning the wound on Marcus's arm, you'll need 8 stitches. There might be cracks in your ribs. Will I survive? Marcus joked. You're a SEAL. Of course you'll live. 30 minutes later, Captain Lisa Chen arrived by Coast Guard helicopter. When she saw Sophie, she burst into tears. Marcus, I don't know how to thank you for saving Sophie. It was my duty, Lisa. You would have done the same for me. Lisa saw Marcus's injured arm. You're hurt. Just a scratch, not important. Agent Blake approached. Marcus, could I get your full name? Marcus Kane, Navy SEAL Team 6, 1995, 2010. 15 years as a SEAL? How many operations? 67 hostage rescues, 23 counterterrorism, 12 underwater demolitions. Agent Blake's team listened in amazement. 67 hostage rescue operations. He was a legend-level operator. Agent Blake asked, Why did you retire? A sad expression appeared on Marcus's face. My last mission was in Somalia in 2010, a piracy incident. I made a mistake. My teammates got injured. I know that operation. Commander Mitchell said, the follow-up to the Maersk, Alabama incident, but the reports say you didn't make a mistake. I felt responsible. I thought I couldn't put people my age at risk anymore. Lisa intervened. Marcus, you saved all our lives that day, do you remember? But, no buts. You're a hero, and you'll remain a hero. The next day, Rear Admiral Christopher Hayes from the Navy came to Tampa. He visited Marcus in the hospital. Petty Officer Kane? Marcus saluted. Admiral, where have you been for 15 years? I was here, sir. Built a new life. The Navy wants you to come back. Senior instructor position with SEAL Team 6. You'll pass your experience to the new generation. Marcus thought, I'm old now, sir. What you did yesterday isn't about age. It's about experience. How many people do you think have 67 operations under their belt? The Admiral handed Marcus a file. The declassified report of the 2010 Somalia operation. Read it. Marcus opened the file. The real details of the 2010 operation were written there. The injured teammates weren't due to operational errors, but from an enemy RPG attack. Marcus, you made no mistakes. The Admiral said. There was an intel failure, but it wasn't your responsibility. In fact, the reports say you saved 4 teammates despite being wounded yourself. The guilt Marcus had carried for 15 years began to dissolve at that moment. Sir, I didn't know. It was classified. Now you can read it. You were a perfect operator, and you still are. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. I need time to think, sir. Of course. But remember, the new generation of SEALs needs your experience. A week later, Marcus was working with Vincent at Tampa Port when he made his decision. Vincent, I have some news. What news? I'm going back to the Navy. I'm going to be an instructor. Vincent smiled. I knew it. You never belonged here anyway. I worked here for 25 years. But you were always different. Now you're finding your place. Marcus looked at the port one last time. He had good memories here, but now it was time. If you enjoyed these powerful stories, don't forget to subscribe to the Last Stand channel. We'll continue bringing you more hero stories every week. Marcus Kane now serves as a senior instructor at Naval Special Warfare Command. He trains young SEALs in hostage rescue and underwater operations. Sophie Chen is now 12 years old. She visits Marcus every year. She hugs him saying, Uncle Marcus. There's no greater reward for Marcus. And Lisa Chen? She became an admiral too. She works with Marcus training the new generation of special operations personnel. Vincent Torres still works at Tampa Port. But now that he knows who Marcus was, he tells every new worker who comes to the port, a real hero used to work here. This isn't over, Marcus had said that day. And it really wasn't over. It was just the beginning of a new chapter.